So it loads with the modules. Right at the top, you'll see Unit 1 because we're in Unit 1. This is all supplemental and required materials for the first unit. If we look all the way at the bottom, you see there's a Unit 2 marking. Okay. That's not up at the top because we aren't there yet. That's it. Okay. When we finish Unit 1, I'm going to move Unit 1 down, and I'll move Unit 2 up. Okay. The next thing you'll see underneath that is this module called All Lecture Videos. Every video I record, a link will get dumped there. Okay. That link will go out to YouTube. You could find it in YouTube just as well, probably not just as easily, okay, but it will be going into YouTube and sorted and somehow filed there. But it's probably easier just to see it here. Those file names will probably come in as something along the lines of 130 because it's the class. And then you'll probably see week. For today's video, it'll probably be week 1, and then it'll probably get written as B for day 2, because it's Thursday, and then I'm going to guess I'll probably have one written as Canvas, and there'll probably be a second one that'll go in as 130, week 1B, for lack of a better word, science. So the idea would be that the title gives you some context of what happened. You definitely have a way to reference what week it is. Make sense? All right. When you click that, you should be able to, it should theoretically send you out to YouTube where you can then watch the video. Okay? You'll notice Unit 1 already has some stuff up there. Okay? It does note that this is required, and this references Lewis structure. It also says it's long. The reason why I've got it marked as long is because it is really, really long. Okay? This one, I think, pushes an hour. Okay? And when you go, oh my God, I got to sit down and watch something for an hour. No. There's a phenomenal button. It's amazing. And I always point this out, and everybody laughs at me like, that's silly. It looks something along these lines. And it means stop watching the video. Then you can come back and click that button again, and it starts playing again. She's like, I only have an attention span of 10 minutes. At 10 minutes, click that button, go do something else. Okay? I know, that's really heavily sarcastic and mean, but it works. Okay? I'm trying to make that video shorter. There's just a lot of content in it. Okay. There is some stuff that says you can skip this if you're in Chem 130. Unfortunately, you can't skip it because of how it's dumped into the system. You're welcome to watch it or not. Okay. That's one of the things where you could just hit play and just let it kind of play out till a quick question pops up. Guess whatever you want, and continue to let it play. Guess whatever you want. Okay. And just kind of ignore that content. If you have to move into future chemistry classes, that content becomes very important. Okay? But for 130, it's not important. Okay? So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that within this. Okay. So now the next part that might be relevant for you would be going to, let's see, are you going to do what I want you to do? Yeah, cool. Would be the assignments. Your assignments are organized by default according to when the due date is. Mine are assigned or built according to category. Okay? They decided that's what Canvas decided the defaults made sense as. Okay? So because the categories may not make sense right now and it's not going to show everything that's due immediately, remember I had that list of 6 different things. Okay? What we'll go ahead and do, if I can find my mouse, is let's make this look like you. What do you get to see? So what you should see, if we go to student view now, okay, and we go to assignments. Good, it got rid of that other thing. Overdue assignments. I'm now a student enrolled in the course. There's 2 assignments that were due already. One was due at 8 a.m. before the class started. Like literally the entire semester started. I don't expect you to do that necessarily, but I want you to at least see the formatting behind it. One was due this morning at 8 a.m. Not everybody's done that. Not everybody has the textbook yet. That's okay. Okay? The reading assignments are intended to have you start reviewing. I want to get you immediately in the response of trying to get into that. Okay? So if you don't have the textbook, you can go to the tutoring center and look at it. You can wait till your textbook shows up. Don't wait too long, because then you're going to have to do a lot of catching up. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go in and take a look and see what that first one is. Reading assignment 1.1. This was one of those confusing things. Okay, someone sent me an email and said, well, I read it, now what do I do? Okay, the directions for what you were supposed to do, I'm pretty sure are in the syllabus, and we talked about it. This isn't me saying you're bad for not remembering what I said. Guaranteed you won't remember everything I said. I don't expect you to remember that. So if you're confused, you send me that email. So I forget who sent that, but thank you. Okay? And at least in the first few reading assignments, we now have that statement put in there. Okay? Provide a brief summary of the following pages. So you go through and you read the pages. Okay? For those of you being like, what a jerk, why would you put an assignment before the semester started? That's for you. Okay? For the rest of you that are like, whatever, I don't care, I'm just going to do it, you do the reading assignment and then see where it says submit assignment. If we click that, what it'll do is now slide to the very bottom of the page, and you'll see this new thing pop up with file, upload, or text entry. Okay, for the reading assignments, I would recommend the text entry. But if for some reason when you do reading assignments, because some people do this, and you take copious amounts of notes as you read something, that's a good habit. I don't want you now doing two different pieces of work. So if you're already taking good notes, go to File, Upload, upload your notes. That counts as the reading assignment. You are by far and away doing more than what I'm asking you to do. But if you're already doing it, just prove to me that you're doing it. That's all I want. Does that make sense? Okay. So for those of us that don't take really good notes, you will probably do the text entry. So if we select the text entry, it opens up the little dialogue, and it now provides us the opportunity to write something in there. Okay, well, what should we be writing for this? I am recording. Good. Okay. A couple people read the first section. Anybody want to tell me what you read? I don't want anybody else to know that I did my work. Come on. Really? Nobody? What do you got?
It talked about like the evolution of chemistry.
Okay.
The different branches there are of chemistry.
Scientific method.
Okay. I'm going to pause for a second here. Everybody heard that somebody else shouted scientific method, right? Oh, yeah. Should you write that?
Just the word scientific method, or like elaborate on it?
It's not really.
I intentionally left that question open-ended. What do you think? Okay, you could elaborate on the scientific method. So should we provide a description of the scientific method for this assignment?
No.
The reading assignment is now done. Okay, should we repeat that? Make sure everybody got that. The reading assignment is now done. Submit assignment. You get all the points for that assignment. Okay. This is not supposed to be some extensive summary. And some people may be laughing because they were like, I wrote so much more than that. Okay. This is just supposed to be a brief summary, prove that you did the reading. Okay. For those of you that are like, I did so much more than that, that's good. That probably means you will retain the information better. Okay? So I'm not telling you to stop doing work, but what I'm telling you is that I don't need to track all of the work that you're doing. Does that make sense? Okay. I know that's kind of weird, but that's the way it works. Okay? So again, those people taking copious notes, that's cool. You just upload the document. Okay? At least once a semester, the reading assignment file that at least one student uploads is like 2 or 3 pages of notes. I really don't care as long as you know I'm not asking you to do that. Okay? If you feel that that is useful, then you should do that. Make sense? Okay. So that is our reading assignment. Brief summary of those pages. Okay? So we did that for that first one. It's been submitted. Okay? Oops, I wanted to send something else. You can resubmit. That's fine. So we could do the same thing for reading assignment number 2. Okay? Notice that these are overdue at this point. Okay? One of the things that we talked about is I won't officially grade those until after the exam. Okay? So readings 1 through 4-ish don't officially get graded until about week 4 or 5, because that's when the exam on that reading material is based. Okay? At that point, I will go through and insert zeros. You may see a grade pop in earlier than that because you submitted it and I'm trying to get ahead of the curve. Yes?
So wait, if something says it's overdue, but it's before the exam, you can still do it?
Yep, you can still do it. Okay? And I would encourage you to do it regardless. Okay? Just do it. Okay? Because reading it and then reflecting a little bit to write about it is fine. Okay? And notice as well, did anybody theoretically, no, good. Did anybody have the textbook open when I asked the question, what did you read? No, I don't want it open. If anything, I want you to read, close the textbook, and be like, this is what it was about. That pause and that reflect back to what you were trying to read about is actually going to improve your recall of that content better than if you had the textbook open and was like, this is what it was about. Okay? You're just copying the text then. Okay? So ideally put the textbook away, write down real quickly what you learned. Okay? If I don't like your submission, I will let you know. Okay? I'm not very good at tracking who I've let know necessarily about that, so you'll probably get multiple warnings. Okay? But ideally, it's only one warning. The other thing, it says reading 1.2. That does not mean chapter 1, section 2. Okay? That means week 1, day 2. How do I know what pages to read? Open the assignment, it tells you the pages. That's why it's there. And don't laugh too much at that. I still get people will submit chapter 1, chapter 2. Okay? It's not obvious, it's a different system that most people are used to. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Questions about the reading assignment? Okay. So let's go back to assignments, see what else is coming up. Because we're a student. Reading 2.1 and 2.2, those would be due next week officially. Okay. Topic chosen is going to happen next week. Problem solves, number 1. That's due Friday of next week. Okay. Go through and pick questions, or in the case of the first 2 or 3 problem solves, pick keywords. Okay. If it looks like we're solving questions in class, you should probably be solving questions in the problem solves. Okay? The first couple weeks, all we're going to be doing is talking about definitions. Okay? A little bit of history. This is what this is, this is what this is where we find this information. Okay? So it is okay to do just definitions there. Okay? Where it becomes problematic is when we get to solving a bunch of questions and you just provide definitions. Those definitions aren't going to help you on the test. Always keep in mind what's going to happen on the test. How do you know what's going to happen on the test? This could be embarrassing. I'm hoping we would go to files. Old exams. Still fingers crossed. Yes! Somebody did it. And that somebody's me. That's why I'm happy. You have the old exams listed out. Okay? Exam 1, Exam 2, Exam 3. Open up Exam 1. As we're going through the class, be like, he just talked about this question. I now have the context to be able to do this. Or I just read the textbook. I can now answer this question, theoretically. This is the level of understanding Mike expects of me. Okay? You also have the review final and some other documents which we can talk about later. Okay? But we don't need that right now. Okay? So when we go back to our problem solves, okay, you can pick any question you want from the practice exam, or any questions you want from the practice exam, any questions you want from the textbook. Okay? There should be a suggested homework file already uploaded. Okay? You can use that as well, because I went through and was like, I think these questions are more important than the others. Okay? And all I want to see is roughly 20 questions, not the question text, but your answer and your thought process behind that answer, which we talked about Tuesday, right? Okay, kind of good?
So these are every other week on the even number of weeks?
Even number of
This
weeks.
Covers the previous 2 weeks.
Yep,
Can you click that really quick?
sure. No. Yes. This is an interesting point. What does that say? Exam 1 for fall 17. Anybody remember what the old exams were? Spring 18. So this is a link to the fall 17 exam, which isn't in the course. What's going to happen when you click that link? It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to say it's a dead link. I have to update that. Because that assignment is due next week, it's on my list of to-dos. Okay. Same deal with the homework suggested. That's actually in Canvas under Pages. I just need to make sure it's linked across appropriately. Okay. So this gives you a place on where you can find those. Again, any online resource, any other textbook, that's fine. 20 questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then you submit assignments.
And then the submit assignment is the same deal. I will still get students coming through and typing. Okay. We'll open up, you'll notice that there's no text entry this time. Okay, well, why not? In theory, you're handwriting this. It's kind of hard to upload handwritten into a text entry. So what I would expect to see is a file upload. You took a picture of your work and you uploaded the picture of your work. Okay. You want to type it up? That's fine. Highly discouraged. Okay, why? When you take the exam, do you get to type your answers? No. So by typing your answers for the problem solved, you're not building muscle memory. You're like, it's just writing. It's proven muscle memory is not there to help you out so that when you get to the exam, you won't have that same reflex for writing the answers down. Okay? So if you handwrite those, upload the image, you're fine. Okay? Ideally, don't give me the crummiest image you can. Give me a nice image, and it's fine. Does that make sense? Okay. This can be done from your phone. You take a picture, and if you've got the Canvas app, you should be able to upload directly from your phone.
So you said we could take a picture for this one. For the reading assignment, are we allowed to do the same thing?
Yep, and the reading assignment, there were 2 tabs. There's the file upload and the text entry. Okay? For the amount of work that I expect you to do, I think the text entry is easier. Okay? If you're doing more already, that's phenomenal. File upload. Okay? Decent? Is it a little bit less work now? You were like, oh my God, that's so much work. And now we're down here? Okay, good. Leapage. Okay. So topic chosen we'll do next week. And because these are organized according to due dates, they aren't flagged quite in the order that I told you about them. Okay. We've got the syllabus quiz. Which someone asked a question about that. If you still want to ask questions about that, you should talk to me. And then not reading assignment, which is just the competencies. I did get a question about that assignment. Okay? They said they went through and did it, and they're like, I don't know what that topic is. Oh my God, I don't know what that one is. I don't know what that one is. Oh my God, I don't know anything. Those are literally the course competencies. At the end of the course, you should know all of those. Some people may come in already knowing some of them. Some people may not. I want to know that information. And not only do I want to know it now, I want to know it at the end of the semester so I can say, look, you have learned. Or, oh my God, I suck. Right? And I need that information. Right? If I don't ask for it, I can't find that out, and I can't become better. The other one is this assignment survey. You may be hearing in your other courses about student learning outcomes or the general ed assessment things. The school is going through an accreditation process, a permanent accreditation process, where we have declared that any student passing through our courses achieves in these certain categories. One of those categories is personal development. That's what this survey is looking at. Okay? So it is looking at kind of your background, okay, and what you expect out of success within your classes. Kind of make sense? Okay. So it's just both of those assignments are really just surveys. Just go through and do them. Okay. You have to enter your information in so that I can give you points for it, because those go out to Google Forms. Okay. This one, the assignment survey, I'm sorting through like 300 different entries. It's brutal, but again, I think it's important to figuring out how to best serve you. Okay? Kind of makes sense? Okay. Everybody okay with dealing with the assignments and how those pop up? Okay. There's a question about playposit, presumably. Yeah? Okay. So let's take a look at what's going on with playposit. If you're curious, there's... Geez. That's just ugly. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. So, let's see. Am I signed in? Cool, I am signed in. Okay. This is not your exact view, unfortunately, and playposit has it formatted slightly differently. I believe what you see is the same kind of toolbar at the top, but then you have a little button that says plus course. You would click that, and you would search for, actually, I'm not going to draw. What you would search for, come on. Oh, you stupid. Not you, me. All right, I got to do some password stuff. Where's my sign in? So let's try it this way. Am I signed in there? Yeah, I'm signed in. Come on. Really? When you first go there, you should see something along these lines. You may need to join or log in. So we can submit. Cool. Now it's got it loaded right. These are all of the videos that I have uploaded. Right? Most of, or some of them aren't relevant to you, so don't worry about them. So what class should you be adding? There are two classes that I would recommend you add. Okay? The first class, which is most relevant for us right now, is this one right here, okay, which is super, super small font. So let's write that bigger. Fall 18 CHM 130. So if you enter that in your add a class, you should find that, add that class, and you will then get all of the playposits that I expect you to watch throughout the semester, which I believe is a total of 6. Okay? The other one that I would highly encourage you to go through and upload, but I'm not going to require you because I have no control over your lab experience, is this laboratory, Chem 130. Okay. Both of those are going to be relevant. The Fall 18 one is for you guys for this lecture. The laboratory one is for clearly the lab. Why do I have a separate one for the lab? My brain is weird, as we've clearly established by the levels of commitment that you all thought that I was asking for versus what I was actually asking for. Okay? That same disconnect happens to the lab. So the way the lab was organized does not match the way the lecture is organized. So there is some content discontinuity, particularly in the very beginning of the semester. Okay? So if you go into the laboratory section, okay, again, they kind of make it look prettier, but you can sort via due date, and you will see these 5 videos, okay, with due dates associated with them. Okay, again, these don't track to you, these track to helping you prepare for lab. That's it. You don't want to prepare for lab, that's on you. Okay? I've got them set up so that they would match the Saturday lab class, because I put this out for all lab sections. Okay? So the due date is August 25th, because that is this Saturday. That is our first group of students going through measurements lab. Okay, so if you clicked that link, it should just play for you, but of course, because I'm an instructor, it's got to give me all these other stupid things. If we click preview, what it'll do is open up with the video. This has lots of content in it, so please be careful and feel free to the video. You get to listen to me talk. Okay, what we're looking at is measurements and uncertainty. Okay, so I'm going to mute that because I don't need to hear me. Here's the example of the quiz. Okay, because I've written it, I can see where everything is. You can't. Yours is just a scroll bar at the bottom that you can't scroll forward through. You can scroll backwards through. Every time a quiz question pops up, guess what happens? Video stops playing, you have to answer. Okay, so in this case, what it's saying is, hey, if you want to just watch the video without these potentially irritating questions pop up, go to YouTube, there's the link. Okay? If you want the quiz questions, because you think that will help you stay focused and actually learn from what's going on, then all you got to do is click continue, and I continue to talk. Okay? The video will play through and address all kind of the big concepts within it. Because I can skip, I'm gonna skip to roughly the next question. There the question pops up. What is the length of the silver rod? So based off of the video content, you should be able to answer the question. Sometimes. Okay? Sometimes I'm trying to test, what do you already know? Okay? Don't stress about getting the answer wrong. Okay? Focus more on trying your best with it. So I'm going to go ahead and click this answer, click submit. Come on. Okay? In this case, it just popped up with incorrect. Okay? Remember the weird brain? Sometimes the feedback will come back and be really sarcastic. Okay? Probably because the reason you picked that answer was because you were just guessing. Okay? That's the hope. Okay? If you picked that answer honestly, I apologize for the sarcasm. Okay? You click continue, the video continues to play through. Okay? If you just want to find those sarcastic answers, that's perfectly all right for the lab videos. Okay? For the lecture videos, so we'll go ahead and close this now. For the lecture videos, if we go back into those courses, unfortunately I only have one uploaded right now. Okay? You should do the best you can as an honest attempt for each of those questions, because you will get graded for that. Okay? How does that get graded? So again, now we're at the grades, so we go, oh God, okay, let's pay attention. Okay? So I'm not going to open our section, and because these actually aren't grades, we'll go ahead and open this for, let's look at this first one. I can open up the analytics. Are you kidding me? Okay, so it gave me access to a different, of course, one that nobody watched. 34 views, let's try that. Okay. This is what I see. List of names, what you entered, okay, or didn't enter. Okay. How do I go through and grade? The playposits are each worth 10 points. I go through and look at this bar along the top. This is how the class did overall. I go through and I look at that and I say, well, question 10, nobody got right. Okay. As an instructor, that should be the question I grade, right? So this way everybody loses points. Good, you laughed. I find the questions that everybody did right, okay, or most people did right. those are then the questions I go through and grade. If it's 10 points, particularly the Lewis structure one, it's 55 minutes. Okay? You spent a lot of time watching that. I want to give you points for that. Usually what I do is set, if you did the video all the way through, here's 7 out of 10 points. Okay? Then I go through and look. Okay? In this case, I would probably grade question 1 and question 10. So for this first person, they got question 1 right. And I have to change the sizing to see question 10, but more than likely they got it right too. They get 10 points. Okay? They got question 10 wrong. It was a long video. I'll make each question worth half a point. They get 9.5 out of 10 points. Make sense? Okay. Notice the percentage scores on these. So like this first person, all that's green, right? And they only get 40%. It took me forever to figure that out. Don't worry about what it tells you. Okay? Worry about what I enter into Canvas. Okay? Because it's a secondary piece of software, I have to go out and look at it, grade it, and come back. The grade time on the playposits is very long. Okay? Again, I try to do it around the exam because that gets you the most accurate picture of your grade after the exam. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Yes?
So playposits should be done when they show up as assignments?
When they show up as assignments.
Okay.
If you want to jump ahead and look at what's put into playposit, you're more than welcome to do so, kind of at your own risk. For instance, the Lewis structure video makes some assumptions that you know something about valence electrons. Okay? This could be an interesting question. Let's just see. How many people know nothing about valence electrons? If you watch that video right now, you're going nowhere. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Okay? Wait till we cover some of the topics. How would you know that those topics have been covered? That's why the due date's there. Okay? So we're looking about that week for you to have that content.
Even though the due date's there in class, will you say like, hey, you now know the information for
Yes.
the playposite, you should go
Yes.
start looking at it?
Yep, and particularly for the Lewis one because it's so long.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of messing around with it yesterday and got through a couple questions and I got
Got them all wrong.
3 right. So,
If you've gone in and started playing around and we're starting to get things wrong and you're concerned about it, let me know. I can delete it. Largely, it's probably not going to affect your grade, but I can go through and delete that. Okay?
Can you rewatch it if you want to like review it?
If you want to rewatch for review, yes, that is there after you've gone through and done it. You can also rewatch anything you've watched up to what you've watched. If you haven't seen it yet, you can't scan through that, but you should be able to scan through everything you've watched. Remember, all of them should start within the first 30 seconds with a quiz question that is, go to YouTube if you just want to watch the video. Okay? So that can be more helpful for rewatching. If it's a playposit thing you're getting points for, you need to watch it at least once in playposit. Okay? Oh, actually, sorry, because you had your hand.
No, you answered my question.
Okay, now we'll come back.
Okay, but just making sure, since you were saying we could put pause and all that, there's no time limit?
There's no time limit. Yep. And even the due date in Canvas isn't a hard due date. Okay? The intent of that due date is because we're talking about it in class, you should watch it so that you're prepared for class. If you don't watch it, you aren't prepared for class, but you can double back and watch it later and still get the points.
Are there any assignments on Canvas that do have a hard due date?
No? Okay. I think I have exams written in there so you know when they're happening, and they're a hard due date because they happen in class, but you aren't submitting anything to Canvas. All the reading assignments officially have that hard due date of the exam, okay? But if I haven't graded it yet, you could still sneak in there. Okay. So ideally, everything within a unit gets graded as close to the exam date as possible. After that, you're running the risk of me actually giving you less points. Playposits throughout the semester, you can do it at any point. You don't watch a single playposit to the very end of the semester. You defeated the purpose of them. Okay? But I'll still give you at least half credit for them because you did painfully watch all of those videos. sometimes paid for. Make sense?
I thought you said the problem solves were a hard deadline.
The problem solves were what?
I thought you did say the problem solves were a hard deadline.
You're right. They are. Ish. Because their hard deadline is Friday by 5 p.m. I usually acknowledge that there's some delay sometimes getting those last assignments in, and I usually let it slide through Saturday. After that, because it's manually uploaded, I can see when you uploaded it. If you upload it that Sunday, yeah. Then it counts as half credit, but you submit another 20 on an odd week, and you can get the full points back. Okay, does that make sense? So do the work on time, not a problem. Don't do the work on time, but do extra work, still not a problem.
Also with the problem solves, can you hand them in physically?
Yes.
Okay.
If you would prefer to just show me your problem solves, that's fine. Okay? More than likely what will happen is you'll give them to me and I'll say, stay right there. I'll flip through it, I'll enter the grade and give it back to you because I don't want the papers.
Oh, okay, so we don't necessarily have to.
You don't necessarily have to upload them. Okay. Make sense?
Yes.
Are we good to like talk about maybe chemistry?
Let's give it a shot, see how it goes.
Let's see.